that to YouTube.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Mohammed. I'm one of the SIG K8s-Infra leads, and today is the 8th of May, 2024. And we're holding our bi-weekly meeting. So welcome, everyone. Um, I don't think we have a note taker, so I'm just going to jot any pertinent information down. Um, and that's it. Let's see. Uh, Just give me a second. Let me get the billing report on the screen. Um, all right. This is our billing report. Let's see how we're doing. So yeah, I don't see any strange spikes over the last 30 days across all projects. Um, Key costs are quite flat. Um, and yeah, let's see what's in the next one. Hmm. Okay, I think this is also looking good as well. I don't see anything out of
Do we
place.
do we know if this graph respects the commitments and discounts?
It does. It kind of does because you see this null entry here.
Yeah.
That is a commit that is underutilized um, at that point in
Okay.
time.
Yeah. Because one of the things is depending on which like tracking we've been looking at, we've either been over or overestimating it, or we're like hoping we're overestimating it. We're not overestimating it. I just want to make sure I know which one we're looking at. Because the my understanding is, as we talked about privately, the ones that are in the updates that are being posted in the Slack are likely overestimating
Yes, they've
by,
been overestimated. That's right. Yeah.
right?
Caleb numbers don't quite add up. So,
Right. But in that case, you can look at those and go, okay, well then it's going to be better than this, and the overestimated number is not worse. But in this case, if it's not overestimated, then take it a little more seriously.
yeah. So when the commit is used, it gets associated with the correct project, right? But if there was a period of time in the day where we did not use enough compute, then it doesn't get allocated to a project. It gets assigned against the billing account, which is why it says null. With a line item that's not associated with a project at that point in time. Um, if you notice, there's a new entry called K8s-Infra Prow. So I have bootstrapped a fresh project that is going to hold our Prow control plane, our utility cluster, and the Prow images. So I'm currently working on provisioning that fully. Um, so yeah, that's work in progress. I want to wrap that up this month. So we're ready to spin up the Prow control plane later this year on there as we work out the strategy for it.
Oh, I actually have a quick topic that's related to this spend. Um,
Okay.
PSA, I'm working with the GCR team to plan out. We have previously talked about in SIG, we had the redirect that the project announced and whatnot, but it was scoped to like our most expensive traffic to begin with, to like min max the risk versus like getting our costs sorted out. So basically the images are super popular on Amazon, and traffic coming outside of GCP. We're Because GCR is going end of life anyhow, we're working through options to deal with that. And I'm pushing strongly for we're just going to fully redirect. Um, that's not 100% nailed down, but it's like effectively there. And I plan to have some more updates soon.
Okay.
But that will mean that we should see a cost shift. It should mean costs will go down on the GCP project bill because we'll shift from the less regionalized GCR to the ARs and move more traffic um, to Amazon. I mean, it will be smaller than last time, but it should go down. It does
Okay.
mean that we will have more traffic hit the um, S3 buckets. I don't expect that to be a problem. I expect that to be a net win, but we're like at some point when we're actually going to roll that out, we're going to see a shift. So I'll follow back up when we have like 100% confirmation of dates and stuff, but like that's what we're aiming for right now. I think that's what everyone wants and it aligns with our like past
Okay.
communication, but like there's a huge latency between we said, okay, we're redirecting the traffic and we're actually redirecting all of it. Um, so that's something to think about when we're like cost planning. That's something else that will like eat into the Amazon credits a little bit more. I don't think a lot. That's been
Okay.
pretty cost effective so far, but it actually should give us a little bit more overhead on GCP as we continue to burn down the GCS costs.
Okay. As you can see, the mix shift of the GCE costs have changed. If I go back to, I think I bought the commit in March in end of February. So if I just go to full January, um, start there and end mm, by that. Okay. So, so here's the thing. It looks like we need to revisit the way we generate these numbers, because the figures are completely wrong. Because what
How
Google does is these appear as line items, right? And then there is a credit that's applied against that's worth the commit, and then you subtract, and that's what you effectively pay. It says 66K, but if I go to, let's say in April, your bill doubled, but that's not really what happened. It's just the numbers are not quite right.
okay. We could pull up the Cloud Console
I know
report
the
similar
cloud
to what we
console
do
is
on
correct,
Amazon.
but
Yeah.
we do need to double check the way we're doing these numbers, because
Yeah. But I mean,
initially it's going to be a
this is
bit of
at least similar to when we pull up the AWS bills. We can just pull up the built-in one for
regular
now.
reports.
I haven't seen a lot of evidence that other people are actually using the like public dashboard versus like when we discuss it in the call and in the chat. So uh like we probably should fix it, but I think as long as we can pull it up here, then kind of low priority versus the other work.
Because you can see the mix of the. Also, let me switch it to skew. If I break it down with skew, you can see that the skew mixes have changed, but not necessarily the overall cost.
What do you have for there's a couple options related to how it factors in like credits and stuff on the graph.
Yeah, I did. I just took the promotions off. So that sets to zero.
Yeah, because that's the
Right.
credits, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. It doesn't look like it really dropped it though. I guess we ate it up by, increasing spend elsewhere.
Yeah, the problem is this: the scale test is what screws up the numbers. When we run the scale test, we run effectively what's worth a big chunk of what's worth our commit.
So I mean, maybe takeaway is we do a smaller commit next time.
No, I would keep the commit where it is because the commit is
Okay.
actually utilized relatively well. Um,
I just mean that it doesn't look like it dropped our spend. Like the total spend is still about the same.
no, you see the savings. It's offset by the scale tests that we run, which which is not really helpful.
Are you saying we increased spending on scale testing?
No, what I'm saying was when I bought the commit, I assumed I didn't take into consideration the fact that during the day there was a couple of hours in the day where we run like most of the day's compute cost, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's what's the numbers, which is why ideally we would want this commit to be a bit lower, or we need to figure out some compute to put in there
Yeah.
to.
So that's what I was saying. We should probably just do a lower commit next time. I
Oh,
don't
I
think
agree.
we're gonna be able to spread the scale a lot more than we do now.
Yeah, I'm happy to look at maybe lowering that to 85 next year. Because
Yeah.
we're easily clearing 80 today, and we still have a bunch of compute to bring over.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
Yeah, that's true too. By the end of the year, we should hopefully have finished migrating CI and have a better idea what we're looking at.
so yeah, this kind of covers our baseline every day. Um,
Like we may grow into this commit a little bit.
yeah, but the gray bars is effectively your scale tests, right?
Yeah.
We pay for that stuff, but it's outside of the flexibility, the cut that we pay for. Because
Hmm.
there were hours in the day where we were running more compute than $95.
Right.
Um, yeah, so yeah, yeah. Overall, I think the commits were a good idea. It worked really well. We kind of got lucky though because my initial figure was a lot higher. But we settled on a lower figure. Um, and it's still slightly over provisioned. Mm. I not much to say here. What's happening in Relish test? It's a fun one. This stuff looks good. I don't see anything out of place. Mhm. There's a spike in scale tests because people were rerunning stuff. But yeah, other than that, looks good. And this is like the effective compute every month that we throw out that we're currently wasting. But I assume the CI migration will eat up more of this over time. But yeah.
One question. The 5K project, are we again running 5K tests on GCP or where are we with it?
No, what happened was during the release cycle, we were retesting a fair amount of 5K jobs, which they were flaking quite a fair bit.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, we didn't increase the normal scheduling back yet. We're still I haven't kept as close to tabs on this lately, but I believe there's still plans to be able to flex this between AWS and GCP, and that's also kind of a pilot program for being able to use kubetest2 KOps to more generally do cloud E2E with real VMs across
Yeah,
clouds.
so the migration to COPS for ED testing, I'm going to defer that towards the end of the year because it's a pretty expensive endeavor, so I don't want to do it right now. And there's other things going on right now that we need to deal with first.
Yeah,
So most likely after KubeCon is where I'm gonna start eating credits to run this stuff properly.
I think we want to continue to improve onboarding and getting everything running under the project, and then we can take a look at everything running under the project and start changing how we're running it.
Yeah.
We'll also have had a little bit more time to shake out the like cloud provider extraction bits, and that should
Yeah.
help eliminate tests to be concerned about for the Kubernetes project. Though I have to go and look at those tests anyhow, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, today everything's looking great. I don't see anything out of place. All right, so going back to the agenda, let's see. All right, so the one thing I wanted to discuss today, and I was hoping Dims and Arno were going to be here, is there are some GCP projects in the etcd IO org that I need to migrate, like ASAP, so they can. Marco, go ahead.
Are we going through with the billing for ABS?
Oh yeah, that's good.
Good point.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting, but
No,
yeah.
that's a good point. Thanks for bringing that up. I think we haven't been fully consistent about this. And we generally have poor visibility um, into the infrastructure that isn't on GCP currently.
Well, if you notice, Oracle's hooked up, but it's just bugging out. So he's talked to someone about that. But yeah. What was it? Oh, there we go. Yeah, I still need to do the Okta stuff as well. But yeah. All right. Well, that cost management. Okay, I've done this for a minute, so what would you like me to do? Um,
Do we actually drop spend? That's surprising. Oh, because we had the real expensive scale development stuff at the end of last year. That's what that is.
okay. Let's see. I need to group this my account.
You need to go to filters. Yeah, there, and then there's like charge type. Yeah, is the first one right now, second one. And exclude the credit, I think.
Oh, nice. There we
Yeah.
go. All right, back when we were doing scale dev, and then now we're kind of like next place. Still doing scale, but it's not that expensive. But yeah, let's see. We looking at April, and March. I think the numbers are quite stable actually. Um, that's a big coincidence. But yeah. Um,
That looks like fake billing.
but yeah, it's that's hilarious. I think we adjusted the mix shift of the bills. But yeah,
That's wild. That's ridiculously close.
yeah, yeah. April looks the same as last month, the month before it. So yeah, things are looking good. Um,
It actually month is not the best metric because 31 versus 30 days. So the fact that
oh
it's
yeah,
almost the same actually suggests that it's slightly more expensive, which makes a little more sense.
okay.
March had 31 and April had 30,
Oh, okay.
but it's like very small, like almost the same daily cost. That's really unexpected though, because things like release cycles usually mean that at least the CI part of the cost like is variable. I guess that we don't the places where we're using it on PRs are not super expensive because it's like unit tests and stuff.
Yeah.
Do we want to do it between release cycles to measure the release cycle billing, related billing versus the amount of features closed and bugs resolved and so forth to create some kind of regression or behavior of uh, what we get from it versus how much it cost us?
There's a um it's really hard to pin that down. It's really variable uh how much it actually costs. It relates to things like how flaky the CI got. Not necessarily like features and things, and also just how much people are trying to do. So for example, it's pretty normal that like the last release of the year is uh like more stable, less expensive, less going on. Um
Less people as well.
yeah, yeah. But like it there's enough time between things that, and there's so many factors into the CI spend that it usually doesn't have a super strong trend other than up and to the right, and then we need to evaluate if that's like too fast and like where it's going. Um, and we haven't focused that much on that yet because I mean, for a long time our costs were really desperately dominated by content distribution to end users. And now that we've resolved that, we have like, and we've gotten more resources. We have a lot of room still. I think longer term at some point we're gonna have to get a little bit stricter about evaluating like where things like the CI spend are going. And try to avoid it just continually going up.
Do we want to put in policy as code in terms of creating guardrails of the size of machines or the size of pods and so forth and so on, or and how do we want to plan on doing that?
The problem is that so people are developing tools that create clusters in a lot of cases. So they all have their own uh, configuration and test tooling and things. So there isn't really a central way to say, you're only allowed to create clusters of this size or something.
Yeah, if you look at this diagram here, right, you see this line item that I highlighted. That is just the cost associated with spinning up a Kubernetes pod to do something that didn't involve spinning up something on a cloud vendor. Most of these are the line items are like from accounts where we're spinning up stuff in AWS to do things. Like this is a good example. Here's another one. And then
Well,
wherever you
that's
see Boscos, that's also the same thing. Like the one above it as well is another good example.
the second line item is also, I mean, that's hosting the registry. So like it's still dominating costs on the Amazon bill. And I think the GCP bill, like it's not as horrendous of a ratio, but it like it's still the most expensive thing we're doing. And we're still kind of like I'm continuing to optimize that or like get CDN resources or that sort of thing has wound up being more. We ramped down some scale tests previously just because things got real tight and it was one of the few big levers. But the most part, any individual job just isn't actually costing us that much, and it's really hard to look at the like 400 repos and say you over there like you're using slightly too much. It's also even if you wanted to do something like say every SIG has this budget, okay, but then you have cases like the scale jobs where SIG scalability is managing it, but the performance results are, useful for multiple SIGs. Or you have a bunch of things where there isn't a clear owner, like which SIG is responsible for like the unit tests that it's everybody's unit tests, but it's running as one thing. Um, that I think we can do more here, but it seems like it's going to get really, really, really involved to try to attribute these to anything meaningful and then restrict them. I'm sure eventually we're going to have to do something, but we're pretty far from being constrained enough where that's necessary.
Yeah, the other thing is like the compute cost is not optimized. We're not using reserved instances or any of the cost saving facilities available by AWS. So we've got a long way to go before we can have a conversation about what workloads are people are SIGs and contributors allowed to run in our estate in the pursuit of cost savings. Because like a big chunk of the cost comes from serving our artifacts to end users. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon.
Or just like, not like you said, not taking advantage of features that like no individual SIG would be responsible for, but would let us run the whole infrastructure more efficiently. We still have room to do that.
All right, I think this is it for AWS costs. Let's go to open items and see what's happening there. Um, okay, let's see. Yeah, so etcd, there was an issue some time ago about etcd domain being decommissioning the etcd.io Google Workspace subscription, right? Now, to do that, you need to make sure that there are no Google Cloud projects under that org, and that no one's paying for it. So they identified a few projects that they were using that financially weren't really using that much money. It was negligible. The figures have been shared with Ben and Dims and Arno. So I need to do the legwork of migrating those projects, and attaching and basically wind down the etcd.io workspace subscription they have today, and transfer it to the main Kubernetes.io Google Workspace subscription. Add it there as a alias domain so that we can create etcd.io mailing lists. There's one in particular that they would like to create soon. We've spoke about this for the last 2 months or so, but I kind of need to action that now. It's kind of dragging on, so I need to get on with it. But yeah, that's one thing I want to prioritize over the next 2 weeks. Yeah, is there anything else?
So do we have insight into how much that's spending right now?
Yeah, we do.
Uh, can we share it?
Yeah, let me open the Cloud Console.
I expect it's not a problem. I think we should,
Oh yeah, these three projects. If I take them individually, your dashboard, that was
are they on the
built.
same billing account?
They are attached to this billing account. It's not really. It's an LF
Oh,
billing.
okay, so that doesn't help us at all.
But we can see the cost though.
Yeah, can we say like last month?
About the year to date, it's about $700 a month.
Okay. I mean, that's not nothing, but we should be fine.
Yeah, so that's that. etcd.io around the same cost. This one's a wee bit cheaper. But yeah. They're running computers in here. We can move this to somewhere else. But yeah. Let me see. And then etcd.io dev, negligible. $50 this year. But yeah.
So what annual projection? Something like 60K?
No, $50.
No, I mean the three accounts combined.
Yeah, so this one's 0. The other one, where is it? Sorry, excuse me a second. CD development. What's gonna be today? Yeah, so let's
That's
say $3,000.
3,000 in 4 months.
So
So
yeah, 3,000 5 months. Make that, yeah, about 10 this year, I reckon.
it's 4 months, right?
Yeah,
So that's like 750 a month.
yeah, something like that. And then the other project had around the same value. So I reckon it's 20K in total.
Yeah, 20K seems about. I'm sure read that earlier. So yeah, so that's like not even 1%.
No, it's not even 20K. The other one is 10, and this one is maybe 3.
Yeah, I'm
Like
saying
20K in total.
it's like 2/3% of our budget on
Yeah.
GCP. That's fine. Let's just move them.
Oh, this one's actually different billing account. That's another fun one. But yeah,
I mean, we should absolutely talk to them at some point about if they have room to take advantage of like our other vendors or if that's something they want to do, but it's not pressing at all.
yeah. etcd needs to sort out how it releases stuff. I'm told that they do manual releases and they serve them out of a GCR bucket, and it's like it's not gonna work. Nice change.
Yeah, I was talking to them about that previously, and I like really think they should adopt the Kubernetes registry.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think manual releases is the worst part of it. like been there, done that with other stuff. Depending on manual releases usually still have a certain level of automation, and I don't think there's any release process that's good that has no manual bits.
Well,
But
what I meant was
like
like
publishing direct to a SaaS that we pay for that is deprecated is that needs to go.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, these projects negligible cost, well, relative negligible cost. I'm gonna see if I can get them moved out, and that's it.
Okay. Well, I mean, we should check in with our node, but like +1, let's move them.
Okay.
I am going to be doing one infra thing, which is turning down the rest of the internal Kubernetes stuff now that seems to be good. But otherwise, I'm probably going to go kind of quiet for a little bit while I take my scraps of spare time to look at the cloud provider extraction problems.
Okay,
I
sounds
might
good.
ping you, Mohammed, later about your thoughts there. I don't know about the like long-term situation yet, so I'm not sure how much we can like promise for releasing and stuff, but releasing is pretty high on my list. There at least needs to be like some process and tooling in place better than now, and there needs to be like stuff that's going to be usable for 131 needs to get published for the immediate transition and like docs and tests and
Yeah. And I wouldn't bother reinvent the wheel too much. I would just look at what other repositories within the Kubernetes or for cloud providers are doing. I know that the AWS one is very mature and they've got a lot of things figured out.
I mean, it's the same as the other
Yeah.
repos. I know
Yeah.
how we can do these things. The bigger problem is that like people have to be like on hand to oh yeah, sorry, I like tab completed that and it replaced it with the like smart chip instead of
Okay. Cool. But yeah.
yeah,
I'll leave it with you.
yeah,
Just ping me if you need something and I'll
cool,
review and like just make
yeah,
suggestion.
cool. Um well, unless anybody else has topics, I'm gonna drop in another meeting that I have conflicting. Thanks for coming.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody.
See you next
Take
time.
Thank
care.
you.
Take care, everyone. Bye bye.
Thanks all.
All right, bye.